It's your girl, Macy Alexander, and I'm here with,
Itoro, Umontuen.
and we are with the Atlanta Voice. Today, we have a topic about what's going on in the sports world in the HBCU universe. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of talk about Willie Simmons leaving the FAMU Umily,
Yes, the family.
the family,
hmm
and heading on over to Duke. So, what do you think about that, Itoro?
I mean, I feel like, first of all, congratulations to him on
Absolutely.
making the move.
Hmm.
First of all, clap
Kudos
it
and
up, clap it up, clap it
give
up.
him his flowers.
hmm That's the first thing. The second thing is, people kind of got on to him because, you know, there were folks within the HBCU community that tried to paint him as Deion Sanders 2.0. And I want to tell the audience right now and those that are watching that is completely not true.
That's an unfair assessment. Absolutely. And I feel it's an unfair assessment because come on now. Willie wasn't out here moving like Dion. He wasn't talking, he wasn't acting like he would never go upwards or onwards. He just came in, silently did the work, made an impact, and then moved on. I feel like he left on good terms.
I think so too. Like he literally like built FAMU into this powerhouse, not only in the HBCU space, he also navigated their transition from the MEAC to the SWAC.
Right.
They also participated in the Division 1 AA playoffs. And let me tell y'all, like that is no easy feat.
No, they were competitive.
Like very competitive. He finished with a 43-13 record in 5 years.
That's good. And that shows his progress because, I think that's a great record for any coach in any division of college sports. The fact that he is leaving on a good note after winning the HBCU National Championship, that took place here in Atlanta, right down the street at Mercedes Benz Stadium. And also, you shot that, correct?
I was there with the vice president and she
Yes.
left unhappy.
I know she did. And she was repping too. She had her Howard Nelia on and she did she even get the mat what's it called when the husband of the VP
The
was
second
the
gentleman.
second gentleman. Did she have him wearing her Howard uh logos?
He kind of was in plain clothes. Like
He was swagged out.
he kind of had like this his like this the hoodie with the blazer on and all that stuff, and people were getting on to him on social media like, bro, you're looking plain, bro. Like, come on. At least wear now, yeah, at
He
least.
needs to have some representation, but I understand. I mean, I get it. But yes, so you were there live. You got to see exactly what went down on that field and how Willie Simmons was instrumental in that win that just recently took place at the end of last year. Um, I mean, let's talk about how Willie has even had such a hand in navigating some of his players to get to the NFL.
So I'm glad you brought that up because Isaiah Land, Xavier Smith, and Marquise Bell were on NFL rosters at the start of this season.
That's amazing.
And Marquise is currently making plays for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Zay is on the practice squad with the Rams, and Isaiah Land, who used to play for the Cowboys.
Mhm.
Like I think out of like maybe one season, he was with Dallas, and then They let him go at the end of camp, and then the Colts have picked him up.
Wow.
So he's still making plays for the Colts right now. So, and this is all players under the tutelage of Willie Simmons, who, by the way, he played for Clemson University.
Yeah, Clemson has always been a really decent football program. And I can't really say much because you know what they did to Ohio State a couple of times. But what I do want to say is that it's imperative to know that the school doesn't have any bad blood with Willie Simmons for his new role at Duke. They congratulated him. The AD Tiffany Sykes sent out a statement that read very well.
Hmm.
The president of FAMU congratulated him, and I believe that the school did everything that they could in order to try to facilitate him staying with the program. Now they raised money, from my understanding, it was like 139K to match
Hmm.
his salary.
To help support the assistant coaches. He
Okay,
was
got you.
getting paid $300,000.
Okay, and as a head coach in the college football world, depending on where you're from, that's decent. However, him moving to Duke gives him an opportunity to his trajectory can shoot upwards. And I think that even in our common world, the commoners of today, we can say that in order to get the salary that we want, and of course, it's not always about money. However, if you want to get the upward mobility that you need, sometimes you have to leave. And I feel like he's done what he needed to do at FAMU. He's he's got a really great assistant coach there, and you know about what's going on with the transfer portal. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So, FAMU over the past couple of years have completely cleaned up in the transfer portal. Like
How?
Jeremy Musa, their quarterback,
Mhm.
came from Vanderbilt. He was their starting QB. And then as soon as he hit Tallahassee from day one, he was just throwing dots all over the field. And even to Coach Simmons's credit, they he completed the recruiting cycle
Wow.
before announcing that he was going to leave. But here's a telltale sign. If you attended the game or watched it on television or looked at the highlights, as soon as Coach Simmons realized that the game was going to be over with,
Mm-hmm.
he was immediately crying like a little child on the
Aw,
field.
got emotional.
He was very emotional. Like
Mm.
I'm gonna tell you, like I'm not saying that he knew then, like this was
Mm-hmm.
job well done, because I know definitely this was something that was on the minds of all the players.
Right.
But at the same time, he knew this is how, if he was going to sign off from Tallahassee, he's going to sign off at FAMU. This was the way to do it.
Right. Leave on top.
Leave on top.
Wow, that's commendable, and I can only hope that he was able to communicate that to his players. Sometimes I know you can't because the deal's not signed, the ink's not dry. However, I do hope that he was able to, have some special time with his players and say like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave, and I wanted you guys to be sure you were in the proper place before I got up out of here." Um, Now he is going to coach as a running backs coach with one of his old coworkers, Manny Diaz, that he coached with at Middle Tennessee.
Hmm.
Um, and that's pretty cool. They haven't coached there since what, 07, 09 ish.
Yeah.
So it is cool to see that someone will reach down and say, "Hey, I know you do good work. I see what you've been doing at the program you've been developing for the past 5 years, I'm going to reach down and get you. I guess, I mean, I don't want to say down as a negative thing, but
Right.
I'm going to reach and go ahead and get you so you can come
You're
up
my
here to
boy.
the,
You're my guy.
yeah,
I'm not gonna forget about you.
right. We're going to move up to this ACC and see what it's talking about. So, what do you think their dynamics going to be like up there?
I think the big thing, Duke is a great spot because you're not expected to, you know, you're expected to compete, but you're not,
Mhm.
being in the top 25 is
Mhm.
an accomplishment
Right.
for Duke football. And I think it is a place where you have the opportunity to again recruit the portal.
Mhm.
You have the opportunity to recruit guys that want to be there.
Right.
You've got the opportunity to instill your ideas without the pressures of, say, being at a win now school like
Mhm.
the Blue Bloods, like
Mhm.
your Ohio State or Clemson,
Mhm.
Florida State, or let's not even talk about the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least they have a good opportunity to just you win 7, 8 games, compete for a bowl game,
Right.
you know, and then 3, 4 years, maybe in that third year, of that fourth year, you may have that one year where you just pop up and win 10
Right.
games. And then who knows? Everything's all on the table again.
So that's one of the things that I feel is the best spot for him also because that program has room to grow still. They their fans are expecting them to get better. They had a decent year. Like the a decent last 2 years. And so their fans are expecting them to head on that upstream of growing and hopefully he can make an impact there. Um, you know, it's cool that he went to a neighboring school in Clemson, and then so he knows like what's going on in that area. Um, and I think it's also cool because I'm sure that Manny was like, "Hey, these are my ideas. I've been texting you, calling you. I'm excited about you to come over here." So I think that's a great place for him to have some upward mobility. And then, like you said, who knows? He might be able to flip that role into a coaching position at a larger school, a Power 5 school. Um, and that's one thing that's really hard to find is a good coach out there. I
Mhm.
would like to recruit someone to OSU if we could. Just as a side note. But yes, it is hard to find coaches out there. What do you think about the coaching scape?
I think largely, um, I have a philosophy, and it's real simple. Football is a simple game. Coaches make it difficult.
Mm.
And I think, once you find, no matter what the sport in college,
Hmm.
you have the right coach, it literally can just transform the entire culture.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Hmm.
We see it. We see it at South Carolina with Dawn Staley. How she
Right. She
went there,
transformed that
and
place, honey.
just that place, they were not winning. They weren't. I mean, they were okay, but
Hmm.
now they're a juggernaut.
Yeah.
They are a
Beastie.
cultural phenomenon. You look at what Kim Mulkey has done
Oh
at
yeah,
LSU.
she's monster.
Like, she tapped into that passion that
Hmm.
you have at LSU, already just
Right.
ingrained down there,
Hmm.
and then brought it to the women's game. And
It
you know,
took off. And you know what's the crazy part at both of those schools with Don and like those are one of the top. and premier sports to go watch. Like, you want to go see the women's basketball team. People want to go support them. And that's more than what you can say about programs at other schools because they're rivaling, the football and the basketball programs. So, our men's football and basketball programs. So I think that's amazing that the students want to show up and show out for them and just the city that supports. But getting back to our guy Willie, it's crazy because let's go back to how people are talking crazy on Twitter and social media platforms. I don't understand it because what are you supposed to do once your job is done somewhere? Like, are you just supposed to stay? Are
We
you supposed to
there's
not get any upward mobility? Are you just like what do people expect you to do?
you have a group of people within the culture. I don't it's not age specific anymore.
Mhm.
But they wish for an era where you had an Eddie Robinson,
Mhm.
John Merritt, folks who stayed at the school for 30, 40 years and they just stack wins and they don't go anywhere.
Right.
And it's home and that's it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that we could never have those days again cuz I think the right coach, the right school, the right environment,
Could.
you can have that.
Mhm.
You know, we see it in Power 5. We see it even at the 1AA FBS level
Yeah,
where
that's
you've
true.
got coaches that they stick around for 20, 25 years and you end up seeing their sons on the team.
And that is so cool to see. But I
At the same
understand.
time, what has to happen is you need to have the perfect marriage between administration, coach, and boosters,
Right. And culture at the school.
all ready and willing to pull from the same side of the rope
Mhm.
at the same time. Because, yes, the FAMU first campaign, they did very, I think they have something there that can really spur this on, given the fact you've already got LeBron, given the fact you've got
Mhm.
Nike, given the fact that you've got prominent alum from the school that will stay
Not hesitate to donate.
not right not has that and literally like go to whatever television network and argue for FAMU.
Right. It's cool. Recently I went to the Hall of Fame in my hometown, and I don't know why his name's escaping me, but one of the family FAMU players was inducted last year. Um and he had a total showcase of paying homage to his university. And there are so many historical and legendary players that came from the university FAMU, um, that can spark some interest if a player is like, hey, I can still go to this school and make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame if that's what I want to do. Like, that program has a lot of people that have come and shown their worth throughout the league or throughout the NFL. So I'm just saying here, like, hey, I think they have some momentum. They have momentum in the interim assistant coach that they
J-
um
James Colsey from Florida State University, he's their current assistant and also cornerbacks coach.
Look, he gonna pull them folks through from the portal, and so I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, Fam's gonna be all right. The player you're referencing was Ken Riley.
Yes, Ken
He
Riley, the
he
Rattler was his nickname.
yes, and he played for the Cincinnati Bengals
Mm-hmm.
from 1969 to 1983. And he recorded 65 interceptions in 207 starts for the Bengals.
Look, I was looking at the wall of the interceptions that he picked off and the people that he picked off. It's insane. Like the most legendary of QBs. He was like, "Oh, give me that. Give me that. Give me that." Right? Like don't throw it across the middle. Don't throw it past this man. He was getting it. And so obviously he earned his space in the hall. And I thought that was just a cool little additive to the rich history that comes behind FAMU. So let's see what they got. Like, let's see who else they can push through um, to get to the legendary status. And it don't even have to go that far. It could just be, you know, what their impact in these recent kids that they've been flourishing, that have been flourishing down there. I want to see what they do here in this upcoming NFL classes that
I think this combine, like we're still kind of in the early stages as
mhm,
to who gets invited to the combine, who gets invited to like participate in like the senior bowls and the even the HBCU All-Star game.
mhm,
I think it is in New Orleans that they have every year. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how many players not from not just the swag schools, but specifically FAM, because
mhm.
I think FAM could is really set up to be a dynasty in this space
See.
because they've got, like I said, they got a great school,
Mhm,
they've got a passionate fan base, national alumni, they've got what you would want
mhm.
as an FBS 1AA SWAC school, to really compete, not just compete like, you know, but also really spur these boys forward
Right.
into not just, whatever careers they want to choose, whether it be, NFL or elsewhere. Like they've got the network, they've got the infrastructure down there.
Well, we gonna see what happens. But I guess, well, you got anything else to add?
I mean, I don't have anything else to add, but I just want to tell everybody follow the Atlanta Voice on all social media platforms at the Atlanta Voice and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Atlanta Voice.
Yeah. Make sure you check those avenues because we will be back with more information and staying close to the streets. We're signing off. I'm Macy Alexander.
And my name is Itoro Umontuen.